What is up? Welcome to the NBA Rundown, brought to you courtesy of Run Pure Sports and Run Pure Bets. I'm your host, Spread Astaire, joined today by Tyler Hicks and AP. And gentlemen, we have plenty to talk about today. Not only do we have a full slate of games this evening, but a little bit of action here on the trade market. Tyler, let's start with you. Did you see the trade, and what do you think of it?
Yeah, what was it? Norm Powell and Covington for Bledsoe? Clippers and Blazers trade. I mean, there's always one of these trades that starts off the trade deadline. It's one of those weird ones. But they did say the Clippers were trying to dump Bledsoe, and he was just kind of just in limbo there. It wasn't really a spot for him. They have a ton of guards. He would play a couple minutes, but he wasn't a key part of their rotation. He's just eating up a bunch of salary cap, so why not bring in wings? So I see why they did that.
Yeah. From a Clippers perspective, it seems like, they're trying to go for the wings, maybe to make a run this year or next year because Powell's under contract for next year. From the Blazers perspective, I felt like the key get was Keon Johnson, who was the Clippers draft pick this year. I think the kid's got a lot of potential, and it's essentially like trading for a draft pick. And the other key thing here for the Blazers is it gets them out of the luxury tax. And if you're not, best case scenario, you're the 10th seed, you don't want to pay the luxury tax. AP, what did you think?
Yeah, no, I agree with you guys. So, yeah, I mean, getting rid of Norm Powell and Robert Covington, should free up some cap space. So, and, from the Clipper side of it, to like a good wing that can play some defense, hit some threes. So it looks like the Clippers are planning for next season, which makes a lot of sense because I saw something. It's unlikely that I think Paul George and Kawhi Leonard probably not going to play at all this season, right?
Yeah, I've heard conflicting reports, right? Sometimes they say Leonard's going to come back. The most recent one is that he isn't. Paul George has an elbow injury, and if he opts to have surgery, he'll be out for the year. But he hasn't had the surgery yet, so maybe still
I read something yesterday said he was going to C3 specialist today, so we might be getting that news pretty quick about him being out for the season.
Yeah, but interesting. They kind of made a win-now move, I think, by giving up Johnson, right? Johnson was one of those guys we were high on coming into the draft, right? Tyler, didn't you like a lot of his work in college?
I liked his defense. His offense just wasn't there. He wasn't very polished on the offensive end, but his defense was very good.
Well, that's what the Blazers need for sure. So, AP, anything more about that trade before we venture into a tweet that you sent out?
No, I just think it's, I think it's we're getting the trade period started off, with a little bit of a bang, and usually it gets kind of crazy. And I don't know, we always get one trade that it seems like kind of surprises us. So I'm curious. Do you guys think there's a chance at all that the Harden gets moved within the next week? And do you think the Philly trade could go down? Do you think the Ben Simmons? What would it be? What do they got to do? Like Ben Simmons, probably throw in Thibault, maybe one other wing, like Danny Green, older guy, and some picks. I don't know. It just seems like Harden. I get the feeling that he's a little checked out. Coming in there, what I was seeing just in the minutes is like, man, the big three on the Nets have spent like no time at all on the court together. You got the issues with Kyrie and only playing in away games. And it's like, man, I don't think it's going to change at all. Like all of them are getting older. They all have injury concerns. So really curious to see what you guys have to think about that.
Yeah, so let me go straight into it. If you guys aren't following AP, it's at AP8809DFS, right? And so he sent this tweet out earlier today. It says, over the last 2 seasons, Kyrie Irving, James Harden, and Kevin Durant have only spent 234 minutes on the court together over 2 seasons. James Harden's played 29-48, Durant 23-61, Kyrie 22-36. You said no way Harden stays with the Nets. Checked out, but just wanted to put that out there so you get the actual number, right? 1/10 of essentially when I'm looking at it, right? 1/10 of the possible
crazy.
Yeah. I don't know how many older guys in here are watching right now, but I was thinking from like a 90s hip hop analogy, right? I feel like Kyrie Irving's kind of like, the conscious rap, the feel good Rastafarian guys, like some Diggable Planets, right? And then James Harden's just like Scarface, right? He's just like get money, get women, right? and just doesn't seem like it's mixing it all. So I can kind of see it too. obviously the Nets gave up so much for Harden. And then it comes down to Durant, right? I mean, kind of like LeBron's the de facto GM. Wouldn't you say that Durant's kind of running things? So I would think that every decision goes through him. He seems like the type that would make it want to work together. But we've seen in Houston, when James checks out, he checks out. Tyler, that was a long-winded way to not really give an answer. But what are your thoughts on Harden and the possibility that he could get traded here before the trade deadline? And if not, do you think he's out when his contract expires at the end of the year?
I think there's a better chance he's out at the end of the year than this week. I don't think they make that move because even though he might be checked out, the team has already said they shut down all the James Harden talks about trades. They want to make this work. Just like you said, they gave up so much to get him there. We don't know what KD's saying behind the closed doors. He could be saying the same thing. We're going to make this work once I come back. So I don't think he's going anywhere until the end of the season because if you trade him for Ben Simmons, probably kills your chance of winning a championship this year. You're not going to bring him in mid-season.
You think so?
Are you going to bring him in mid-season, ramp him up to playoff mode that fast, and then make sure he doesn't screw you and not shoot the ball when he's standing under the hoop?
But I mean, with Durant and Irving, you don't have to worry about shots. If the guy just comes in and defends at the level,
that could be Irving every 2 games. You know what I mean? If he's not playing these home games still, so I don't think they make the move. All
right. What would you guess, AP?
I have no read on it at all, except for I think Harden is I don't know. Unless the only thing that changes the situation is if all of them can start playing a game together, which it doesn't seem like it's going to happen. Durant, obviously he's going to come back and he's going to be strong from his injury. And obviously, I mean, he almost beat the Bucks single-handedly, by himself. So I do think if you're kind of trying to salvage a championship this year, you have to make a move. And if you do bring in Ben Simmons and if Kyrie can somehow play in home games, it beefs up your defense. That team, and then you get Joe Harris back, you have 3 incredible shooters, 2 guys that can create, better than almost anyone in the league. And then, a guy that can run the court and play really good defense, but can't, the problem with Simmons is down the stretch in games. They just hack him. He can't make free throws and he does become a liability. But if Thybulle's in that trade too, then you just bring him in. You still have another elite defender and a guy. Can he hit free throws? He never shoots, so I never know. I have no idea if he's a good shooter or not.
He can't shoot threes. I'll tell you that much.
No, definitely not. So it's interesting. I do think those are hard pieces to move, but trade deadline is what, next Wednesday or Thursday?
It's the 10th. So yeah, it'll be next Thursday.
6 days away.
Yeah. So with DFS, you got to just be able to watch out and maneuver these trades hit. They can hit whenever. So I mean, we've seen a trade hit mid game, and a guy didn't play in the second half. So it gets wild.
AP, Tyler and I have kind of been frustrated with our results this week, and I've been chatting with him and kind of saying this is a crazy week because as handicappers, it's pretty much impossible for us to figure out how each individual team, or going to DFS, each individual players being affected by his name being in all these rumors, right? I think Powell had to know that he was on the move, right? Harden's constantly hearing his name tossed around here. So many other players, right? Sabonis, Randall, De'Aaron Fox. I mean, a lot of guys really not sure, and we act like getting traded like it's just 2K, like they put on a different uniform, right? I mean, they need to move. A lot of times, I think De'Aaron Fox family moved to Sacramento, right? So, I mean, it's his parents live here and stuff. It's a big deal. And I think it's really hard for us as handicappers to really know how each individual player and team is going to be affected by the rumors swirling around it. Tyler and I kind of struggling with it. How do you approach that, from a DFS perspective?
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to factor that in because we're all just assuming things. And so I don't really think too much about it unless it's a spot where I think they could be showcasing a player, where they want to get a guy out there and they want him to play big minutes and to beef up his trade stock. So we haven't seen a lot of that of late. So it's kind of, you're just at mercy of the news coming in, and then you adjust and adapt. So tonight, the Blazers, they're going to be without a few key pieces, two guys that have been playing heavy minutes, Robert Covington, Norm Powell. So you're going to have guys like Larry Nance step in, Tony Snell, could see some McLemore, like CJ Ellaby, like who knows? I mean, Simons, CJ McCollum, Nurkic are all going to have to play really big minutes in a fine matchup against, the Thunder here. Actually, the Thunder have been playing decent defense of late. So low total there, kind of a concerning game. But so for me, like just to sum it up, I mean, it's hard to react until the news actually comes.
All right. Let's do one more kind of little trade talk here, unless the chat goes crazy with it, and then we'll get on to the games. This is from Drew Carpenter. What's up, Drew? Been hanging out lately. We enjoy you having you in the chat. He said, I saw today from the Bulls beat writer that the Bulls are interested in Podol, however you pronounce it. What do you guys think about that? Does not make much sense to Chicago for me. So Podol is actually like second when you go to those advanced metrics, like, and I don't know all the names of them, Raptor or RAPM or whatever. But as a rim protector, Podol rates out very high, and I can understand the Bulls trying to make a move for him. Seems like he'd be a pretty attractive guy on the market. The other one that seems so obvious, right, was Charlotte, as we always talk about attacking, the bigs there from a betting and a DFS perspective. But I wouldn't be surprised. He seems like a piece that they need. You can run. I mean, can you run Vukovic at power forward? I figure you can, right?
I mean, I don't know. That lineup
all depends on what's on the other side. I mean, if they're throwing four wings at you, I wouldn't put him at the 4.
Right.
All right.
I think, the Bulls just need to get healthy. Like they need Caruso back. They need, like, with him back, with everyone healthy, with Lonzo Ball. I mean, they can't like lose sight of how good this team was playing with everyone healthy. So that's what they need.
All right. Let's get into the games tonight. A little bit of trade talk there. And obviously, I'm hoping that this kicks off because it was funny. I was doing a quick workout before the show. I told my buddy.
Wait, spread. Yeah. I meant to say real quick, Fox is moving, right? You brought his name up. Like, Fox is gone. Like, he hasn't played in what, 2 weeks?
Yeah, he's been out for 6 games.
Yeah.
My guess is yes. But
I hope they make some smart moves.
Everything that I'm reading, though, it doesn't seem like it'd be a good return. Like, for whatever reason, the Philly trade doesn't seem like it's going to work out. Now, is that posturing? Maybe. I personally don't want the trade for Randall. Right, Tyler? Wouldn't you feel like if that was announced that you ripped us off?
Yeah. If we got De'Aaron Fox for Julius Randle and we sent him back to stuff him in with Bagley and Holmes and those guys, we won that trade.
Yeah, so I think they want to, but they've wanted to make some moves the last couple of years. I'm wondering if, just like Simmons, right, and just like, I don't know about Sadomas, but I feel like we're overvaluing him.
You know what the blueprint seems to be? Like, look at what Cleveland did. Bring some older guys who, obviously Kevin Love, NBA champion, and Ricky Rubio, obviously kind of a veteran guard who can create and work, get them to buy in to the process, to come off the bench, and then get some then invest in some young up and coming studs. That just seems like a pretty nice blueprint. But it seems like the Kings have been doing that for quite some time. And then the Knicks. Tyler, you're a Knicks fan, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, I'm lost with the Knicks, man. I don't know what
they panicked after last year's season where they thought they were going to be like an actual good team. When, if you paid attention, they were the only team trying last year when everyone else was coasting the regular season.
Right. I like RJ Barrett. I mean, what do you think? You got to commit to what, RJ Barrett?
He's got to be your piece you build around now. Get Randall out of there. Build around the young guys. Cross your fingers. Hopefully, he can coax Zion into losing some weight and come into Madison Square Garden.
That would be sweet.
Yeah,
he needs to get out of New Orleans, man. He definitely
he'll be in a Knick jersey here very soon.
If I lived in New Orleans, I would be so fat. I'd be over 300 pounds.
Yeah, I know. For a guy with an eating problem, right? That was the worst place to get drafted, right?
The food down there is so good.
All restaurants come support us, do this, do that. And he goes, tries the food, it's great, and he just keeps coming back for more.
I can't imagine. But hey, AP, you talked about the Cavaliers, and they are first on the board tonight. They are plus 5.5 in Charlotte against the Hornets. Let me check the news. I know that Darius Garland is most likely going to miss this one, right? He's out till February 6th. Markkanen still out. Dang, I wanted to see him come back. I was hoping to see him out. Jalen McDaniels out for Charlotte. Kelly Oubre in. Gordon Hayward upgraded to questionable here. This is tough, right? Because the Cavaliers haven't looked good without Garland on the floor. But matchup-wise, you have to love this if you're the Cavaliers, right? You know, it talks about it kind of a little bit in the blurb, and almost every single time we're on the show when we bring up the Hornets, we like playing the big men against them in DFS, and we like betting against them when there's competent big men on the other side. You know, marking it out, I don't get the 3 7-footers, but we can have 2 7-footers in there that can move, eat them up in the middle. I'm going to grab the points plus 5.5. Tyler, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, this one's tough. Just like you said, we love to target small teams against these teams that run big, and Cleveland's one of the teams that runs big. But missing one of the big guys in the middle, missing the guard that runs the entire offense, I got to take Charlotte here, spread.
All right, we're on
like their guards should just have their way. Once the second unit steps on Oubre and these guys, they're still going to have the clear advantage. Like, unless Cleveland scores 75 points in the paint tonight, I just don't see how they keep up with this team. Like, they're still going to score all the points from outside.
Yeah, interesting matchup here, AP. Charlotte, these aren't advanced metrics, but just old school metrics, right? I'm an older guy. Points per game. Charlotte's number 1 in the league. Points allowed. Cleveland's number 1 in the league. Something's got to give. What are your take, AP?
Yeah, so I think, like when you're looking at the Cavs here without Garland, they have 2 tough losses on the road, one to the Pistons, and then, their last game that they just played to the Rockets, had a decent win over the Pelicans. But this Hornets team, like, I would be very concerned taking the points, like, for me, just because the Hornets do seem to play better at home. And, like, I think they do get it done here. They could get let me pull up the injury news real quick. They're expecting Kelly Oubre back. They could get Gordon Hayward back as well. So, the Hornets pretty healthy here. So I like the Hornets side. But in DFS, I think this is a nice matchup for the bigs here. Evan Mobley, Kevin Love off the bench. How do the Cavs get it done here? I think it's Kevin Love comes in, has a big game. I think Brandon Goodwin, like any point guard, should be able to produce with this Cavaliers team. Like, throw the ball up, throw it to Mobley, throw it to Allen, or pass it to Love. Hope he hits his threes. Like, that seems to be the recipe. The other guy that needs to have a big game for the Cavaliers to keep this close is Chetty Osman. He's been absolutely terrible. Still have yet to see him hit a jumper. The guy shot is just been atrocious. So if he comes in, has a big game, Okoro, if he helps, on both sides of the ball, I could see him keeping it close. But I like the Hornets here, and I like the bigs in DFS, and I like Brandon Goodwin. I think we're going to see some up and down here. I think we're going to see some points be had. So I like Goodwin plus like Love in tournaments, or Mobley, a little bit safer starting there in the rotation.
All right. It could be, like you said, Pat's a victory there for Cleveland. It is obviously beating them down low. Maybe come down to just some shooting variance here. If Charlotte shoots good from outside, right? And then, that's how you kind of negate rim protection, right? you take threes, doesn't matter who's down low when you're launching from behind the arc. So they get hot from behind the arc. Yeah, and I expect a big game from Oubre, AP, or at least, good performance. He did play. This won't be his first game back. He did play in that game against Boston where they came up 6 points short on Wednesday.
Did he come off the bench there? Or did he start? He played 33 minutes.
I don't know if he came off the bench or not because I jumped in the game late.
He did. Okay, so he's a guy I would look at in DFS too because he comes off the bench, but only if Hayward's out. If Hayward's out, he'll come off the bench, but he often plays starter type minutes. So,
and I also like
DFS play,
getting these guys on their second game back, right? The first game back, they get some stuff out, just play defense, get back in the rhythm. Now should be a little quicker on the trigger with the open shots. Let's talk about the team that beat the Hornets on Wednesday night, the Boston Celtics, who are laying 10 points to the Pistons. This line's telling me that Cade Cunningham's out. I checked Basketball Monster. I am right. Josh Jackson and Jamarco Pickett, who's a player I'm not familiar with, also out as well here for the Pistons. We talked about how much Cade means to this team yesterday, Tyler, and we were proven right as they were not able to get it done in their game last evening. Cade will also miss tonight against a Boston team that's been playing much better as of late. I believe they're 7-3 in their last 10 games, maybe 8-2. I'll have to double check that, but definitely playing better. So, hey, they were a team. If they didn't go on this little run, we'd probably hear them a lot more in the rumors, right? But winning kind of puts those things away. Doesn't seem like, any of these guys will be on the move unless they want to dump Schrader. But, I mean, in December, we were hearing talks maybe they were going to move Jaylen Brown. Now the team's playing a little better. They're laying 10 points to the Pistons. It's in Detroit. Tyler, we usually like grabbing the double digits with the Pistons at home, but no Cade. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, this could be an ugly one with no Cade. I'd back him if he was in there because I think they'd be able to keep it within double digits. If you're going to pin me down to a side in this one without him, though, give me Boston, but not too comfortable with it. For the most part, just going to stay away from this game.
Yeah.
If you wanted some props, maybe you target Jaylen Brown or Jason Tatum's threes over 2.5 because we've seen them guys get hot. When they get hot, they just keep shooting, and they'll let 7 or 8 threes fly in one game. So wouldn't mind taking either of those.
Yeah, and two guys that actually, give the team credit in the win over Charlotte. Neither of them scored over 20 points. I think Brown had 19, Tatum had 15 or 16, right? So they were able to get the win without either of their big stars really having a big night, showing that Boston's really coming together as a team. AP, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, it's tough to play a team that's starting Rodney Magruder. I mean, I watched this game last night. This guy's standing at the 3-point line, begging for the ball, and they're passing to the other side of the court, and he's like running to that side, trying to get the ball to, and then whenever he gets it, he just chucks it up, and then Dwayne Casey pulled him out of the game. I mean, I said it yesterday, and I kind of stand by it. Some of the best players on this Pistons team come off the bench here. Mainly Trey Lyles. Right now, Trey Lyles, yeah. Kelly Olynyk has been okay. Frank Jackson's been okay off the bench, decent producer. Guys that I've looked at in DFS, just a sneaky tournament plays because no one plays them. But man, even with how limited the Pistons are right now, they're so tough to play. I think DFS wise, Saddiq Bey without Cade seems to be kind of him or Grant are battling for that alpha position. Grant maybe not up to full speed yet. Kind of capped right there at 31 minutes, and it's a back-to-back. So you have to wonder if they're a little cautious with him. I don't like betting 10-point spreads unless you're taking a home dog like we talked about, but I don't see how Detroit keeps it close here. So I'm going to be off of this game. I'm going to be off of the total. I do have some interest in Saddiq Bey in DFS, and actually the other guy too. The other problem is we'll probably get some other better value, but Frank Jackson's been kind of a hidden gem there off the bench.
Twitter is up in arms over this guy. He's like their divisive lightning rod right now.
Who was that?
Frank Jackson.
Did you see what happened with him the other night when Brandon Ingram blocked him?
No, what happened?
No. And they're former teammates. They played at Duke together, so it's like these guys have known each other for years. Uh-huh. Ingram blocked him. Jackson fell on the ground. I know he shouldn't have did it, but it's friendly banter at this point because it's not like they didn't know each other. He stands over top of him and flexes on him and screams in his face basically. Wow. But you could see him laughing, and then he reaches down to help him up, and then the ref kicks him out of the game. So he's like, "What the hell?"
Oh, I missed that.
Yeah.
Oh wow. Well, that was last night. Oh no, that was Tuesday night. Tuesday night is when they played. Yeah. And just to answer your one question that's a great DFS breakdown, AP. Remember, guys, these breakdowns are brought to you by runpuresports.com. If you're not already a member, use the promo code GETBETS at runpuresports.com. AP, just to answer your question, right, because I do lean the Pistons side. If you say, how do they win here? We have Jeremy Grant back in the lineup, right? So kind of offsetting Cade from an offensive end. And who knows if these rumors are true, right? But supposedly Grant saying hey, I don't want to go do what I did in Denver. I want to be the guy. I want to take plenty of shots, right? And so, hey, if you're going to trade for me, and expect me to be in the third or fourth role, I'm not going to be happy with that. And then Kelly Olynyk's back there too, giving him a little more veteran presence, kind of, probably not as good, right? But kind of like Kevin Love, a guy who can shoot for you, a big guy, veteran, knows what he's doing. That would be my answer on how they keep it close. But, right, if they lose by 15 or 20, especially the way that the Celtics have been playing. Wouldn't be that surprised, but we'll see how that goes. Like I said, I do lean the Pistons side there, but I'm on an island. Let's talk about the Chicago Bulls, who are -2. They're heading to Indiana to take on the Pacers. The total's 230. The Bulls, we talked about it earlier when we were doing our kind of trade breakdown, right? That this team needs to get healthy. Kobe White questionable, Zach LaVine questionable. On the other side, the big guys, Batadze and Brissett are questionable. Brogdon's still going to be out. Sabonis is still going to be out. And Isaiah Jackson will be out for the Pacers. This is a tough game to cap for me. I mean, just seems like Chicago, but I don't know. They're coming off that overtime game in Toronto last night. Haven't done the best fading these fatigue spots this week, Tyler. Do I go back to the well or I just hate taking the Pacers, but it seems like it's a good spot for them. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to take the Pacers in this spot. If Sabonis was in, maybe I like them, but I know the Bulls played the overtime game. Maybe Indy has a good first half, good first quarter. That could be a way to back them. Mm-hmm. But I think Chicago wins this game, and they win it by more than 3. I mean, there's just going to be no answer for any of that offensive firepower on Chicago's side. Mm-hmm. They're going to get anything they want at the rim. Their jump shots are falling. There's just no chance Indy's keeping up. The total seems a bit high. I kind of like the under there, but Chicago doesn't play any defense, and Indy's going to push the pace with all guards on the floor. So going to stay away from that. We'll get back on the IO prop at 5.5, spread the assists. Mm-hmm. Racked up 8 last game, so we'll take a shot on that. But other than that, I like Chicago to win the game.
Yeah, a great pick there, right? For Io Dosunmu, I think is how you pronounce his name properly. Second-round player, first year in the league, making the most of his opportunity. AP, what do you think of this game?
Yeah, I'm with Tyler on this one. I think the Bulls win here. We do got to keep an eye on Kobe White, Zach LaVine, both questionable coming into this one. So keep an eye on that. And it seems like this line has at least one of those guys kind of factored out in this game. Like if everyone, even though it's a back-to-back, if all of them are healthy, LaVine and White, then DeRozan and Vucevic, I don't really get why they're dogs against a Pacers team that is without 2 of their main guys, and they haven't looked as good without those guys either. So for the Pacers to win, I mean, Karis LeVert's going to have to carry this team, and he just hasn't done that. He's looked better this last game against Orlando, but still, I will side with DeRozan, with Vucevic, even if LaVine misses. And Javonte Green, he looked good yesterday too. He was he looked good on the defensive end, 3 steals, 1 block, got some stats, rebounds, a couple assists there. So I think he's a guy that can fill in, and they got another guy. They got like some guys that can kind of just fill in the cracks there. But yeah, give me the Bulls here, and I think this is going to be a good game to target in DFS. And the reason is because like if Goga is out, the Pacers are going to be forced into this kind of smaller lineup again. And we've seen them play at a much faster pace of late because, probably because they're running out this smaller lineup. So I do like this game in DFS. I like Karis LeVert. I think he's a good tournament play. He's let a lot of people down of late, but with the Bulls without 2 of their best defenders on the perimeter and in the backcourt, we've seen guards just smash against them. So I'm looking at Karis LeVert. I'm looking at Chris Duarte. Actually, Tyler, I'd be really interested to see what their props are. That's not something I look at enough, but those are definitely 2 guys I'm looking at in DFS tonight.
LeVert's points are 21.5. Duarte's 14.5.
Not bad.
Duarte, his shot's been off, but you got to think that, man, once he sees a few go through, that he's just going to be lighting it up. I kind of like that Duarte one.
And the chat's pretty high on this too, but I got to ask Tyler, what's Vucevic at? And give me a PR too.
His points are at 19.5. His rebounds are set at 12.5. The combo of it is set at 31.5.
Yeah. Don't you kind of like the combo there?
Yeah, I mean, that's probably the way to bet it. My only worry, though, is like when you watch him play, like, hey, he does have big games here and there. Mm-hmm. He's basically the third option to DeRozan and whoever else they put in front of him. Because it always seems like he's just cleanup guy at this point.
Yeah. All right, make a good point there. AP, to answer, or just give my take on why the line is what it is. I think that a lot of us have been betting fatigue pretty heavy for the last 3-4 years.
I gotcha.
And especially on the offshores, I think they're just setting these lines almost like an overcorrection because they know so many of us are schedule betting, right? Off an overtime loss, right? 4 and 5 nights, right? Toronto plays their starters 41 minutes a night or whatever they do, which is why you guys like them in DFS here. And I'm using Toronto as a bad example in the Bulls game here, but we're betting things like that. And I think that it's almost like a protection. When they want to line at 7.5 or 8 and they move it up to 9.5 to get away from that teaser in football. I think that's a lot of what's going on is that people understand the fatigue angle so well that it's just baked in perfectly and almost maybe in my mind a little bit of protection. All right. Looks like Bookmaker didn't screw me up too bad tonight on the order. So we'll keep going in chronological order. The team I talked about plays their starters 40 minutes a night. And tonight they're laying 3 against the Atlanta Hawks, total of 218. The Hawks have won 8 of 9 games. The loss came to Toronto. Tyler on a night that I faded him using the fatigue argument. But to be fair, I expected Trae Young to play. He did not play in that game. And if you watched their game last night, you know how much he means to the team. 43 points, was just absolutely on fire from behind the arc. Truly the engine to the Atlanta Hawks offense. So now they're going to head up to Toronto. Toronto's weird. You would think that with no fans in the crowd that they're they'd have less of a home court advantage. Hasn't seemed that way so far if you're just looking at the results. I kind of like the Raptors here. What are your thoughts, Tyler?
Yeah, I agree. Give me the Raptors here. I think their length, their defense, they're going to leave these guys on the floor, just like you said, 40-plus minutes. Even they played the overtime game last night. It seems like these guys just keep running. Like they'll run out of energy. They just keep moving. There's no fatigue with this team. So give me the team that plays better defense, and they'll be able to hang with this Atlanta team. So I think they win this game. Give me Toronto.
All right. We agree. First game we agree on. AP, what do you think?
Yeah, all three of us are going to agree. I like the Raptors here. Trae Young, though, I think you can look at him in DFS formats, even though, coming off here, off a back-to-back, he's still this Atlanta rotation. I mean, I don't understand it. And I was watching the show yesterday, and you guys were talking about it with JSU, and I'm right there with you guys. John Collins is playing 25 minutes. Capella's playing 24, 25 minutes. And then Okongwu's looked really good. So it's going to be interesting to see if they do anything with those pieces up to the trade deadline here. But, give me, mild interest in Trae Young. But I'm always fine with playing these Raptors guys. They play so many minutes. What I do when I use kind of our optimizer, which is SaberSim, I always just bump them up a little bit. They're all priced up. So, just because I'm bumping them up doesn't mean that they're going to automatically get into my build. But it's going to increase the chances of them hitting my builds. And I think they're just good guys to play on a nightly basis. Like Siakam, the dude smashed last night. 58 DK points there against Chicago. Could be Fred VanVleet night against this backcourt. I mean, any of these guys I think are in play because they get so many minutes. So it's going to be a great game to target in DFS. And give me the Hawks. Give me the Raptors at home 3-point favorites.
Usually I don't like to go out of order on the chat, but this is too funny. Did you see Brandon McNair? He says, I'm at work right now, but I heard you in the Discord. You were talking about Karis LeVert. Just wanted to let you know there are outlets to get help. As a friend, I'm here for you. We will get through this.
Yeah, he's so good.
I mean, he's been hurtful, right?
Yeah, okay. But let's go back real quick.
Yeah.
I know we already covered that game, but you talked about fatigue. How do you take – and so how all the sharp bettors are attacking that, on these teams to get into overtime, back-to-backs, et cetera. How do we attack that? In DFS, we go to a player who was mega chalk, in Karis LeVert, who busted multiple times, going against a team that has they're unable to defend, in the backcourt right now. And I think LeVert is going to be able to get to a spot, especially if they have heavy legs, these guys on the Bulls side. So, in my opinion, you take away the bias, you take away your hurt feelings from his results, and you look at the usage and you look at the minutes he's getting and the opportunity, and I think he's a good play tonight.
All right. Yeah. Normally I don't like to go in order, but when a comment is that clever and well written, it's worth messing up the flow a little bit. Anything more on the Hawks and Raptors before I move on, Tyler? I don't think we talked about props yet.
I mean, for this one, if you want some props to target, maybe you target, just like you said, some Van Fleet. I like some Scotty Barnes in this spot because I don't think they're going to have anybody to stop him. And he should just fill his stat sheet up. His PRA, if it's below 25, I'd gladly take the over there. Let's see what it's at. 23.5. Give me the over there. I think he fills that up. I think he might get close to 30 with that number. So that's the props I'm looking at in this one.
All right. Anything more on this one, AP? Did you get the DFS breakdown of the players we're targeting?
Yeah.
Is there anyone we missed? Okay. Let's go to the next one. All right. And this is where bookmakers screw me up. But no, I got it right. The next one will be the Houston Rockets. They're now catching 7 points against the Spurs. That's because Podol got ruled in and DeJounte Murray got ruled in. Oh, everybody's in. Doug McDermott, Keita Bates Diop, and the season debut of Zach Collins. Boy, that's a name I haven't heard for a while, right? Kid I really liked. He was out of Gonzaga, right? Thought he was going to be really good. I remember him playing some really quality minutes with the Blazers. It feels like he's been hurt for like 2.5 years. I think that's a total wild card on how he'll perform. But definitely be interested. That'll be something I will be tuning in to see how he's doing. The Rockets, right? They're coming off that revenge game, Tyler, right? And our guy, let's give him credit in the chat. Like Robert reminded us that it was the KPJ revenge game, allowed us to pivot mid-show and get on that money line. We were able to get that one home. So the Rockets coming off, a pretty nice win over the Cavaliers with 115-104. Now they will be in San Antonio. They have to hit the road. The road trip's not too far, though. 7 points is a lot. I lean towards taking Houston. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I'm on the other side. Give me the Spurs here, spread.
I'm glad we're going to Skip Bayless will be proud of us today. I
got a feeling that they got up for last game, just like you said, it was KPJ's revenge game. If any of them guys are like buddies in the locker room, they all got up for that game.
Yeah.
They really have nothing to get up for tonight against the Spurs, who they play 4 times a year.
Mm-hmm.
Spurs are bringing back all their guys tonight. I like that DeJounte Murray triple-double and win it about plus 470. Just got to pray to God they don't blow him out and he can get there fully on the stat sheet because he didn't get there for us last time. But I think Houston, they'll be able to keep it a bit closer this time. I don't think they get blown out, and I think he fills up that stat sheet. So give me that triple-double and Spurs win it plus 470.
Ooh, all right. Great pick there. And then you're taking out the 7 points there. Which is what I kind of like. I do think that they, obviously Spurs money line worth a look if you're building those square parlays. But I like the Rockets to keep it close here. Break the tie, AP. What do you think?
Yeah, so my comments are going to be on the total, and so you got it's crazy. We've done this is the third time this game has been on a Friday. Taking the over on it because it's always like 234, 235. Or something. It's gone over each time. It hit 238 and it hit 240. So I think it's 237.5 right now. I mean, and it's just sneaking by. Like the thing about the time they played last is the game blew out early. DeJounte Murray only played like 24 minutes, but he put up, at least fantasy wise, like he had to be close to a triple double.
He was like 3 rebounds off the triple double.
And he played like 24 minutes? Gosh, he's going to be one of the top plays on the board tonight. Should be well rested. He's such a good play tonight. That's like why I can't play Trae Young is because like I could pay a little bit more for DeJounte Murray, a guy who's just like in such a smash spot. We just need the Rockets to keep it close. So Jalen Green's been playing a little bit better, hitting some shots, getting ready for the dunk contest with some really nice highlights of late. Like he's had some really nice in-game dunks, which is always fun to see. So I like the over here. Like not like love it. Not going to be like the bet of the day or anything, but I have to lean that way. Then I gotta lean with Tyler here on the Spurs -7. With all the boys back, with DeJounte basically, Derek White, he's been playing good. Like yesterday, he by himself was kind of keeping them in it. And everyone else was playing so bad. He was 7-11 from the field. He only played 21 minutes, but he was so productive in those 21 minutes. So I think he's going to be fresh too, only playing 21 minutes last night. Give me the Spurs here. Give me a slight lean on the over. And DFS wise, attack this game. I think we attack the Rockets here with DeJounte Murray. I don't know if I'm going to go to Jakob Poeltl. What was it? Is he coming off a concussion? Is that what it was? Or are you guys?
I don't know what he was out with. I'm not sure.
Okay, so
yeah, concussion.
So as long as he's going to get full minutes, the guy's actually been smashing. Like he's been putting up some nice numbers. He put up 37 DK points in 20 minutes against this Houston team. So he's going to get whatever he wants. It's just it comes down to, can the Rockets keep this game close?
Yeah, and I think you had a great point there, Murray, right? Do I want to target a guard going against?
To cap it off, sorry, spread, but Drew Carpenter. Murray going to smash after his all-star snub. This guy was – I didn't even realize that. He's not an all-star?
No.
Even
there's a few guys you would look at and be like, they didn't make the all-star team. It's almost like they cut a few spots. It's like, why are – like there should be like 2 or 3.
Well, it's because guys like Andrew Wiggins made it.
Well, they voted him a starter, and that was just
by Drew there. Wow,
that was just because they have it designated. We need a small forward to start. They could have just plugged Devin Booker in that spot.
He's been like one of the best players in the NBA. Well, him, John Morant, DeJounte Murray's been up there. Like he's been so good this year. So crazy. Garland also. Garland got snubbed too. Like he's not a reserve.
No, Garland's a reserve in the East.
Okay. Whew. I haven't looked at all of that stuff lately. It's just been all like, I mean, you guys know the grind with injuries and stuff on a daily basis.
Yeah. And especially with all these rumors. But what my point was going to be, just from a general perspective, do we want to target a star guard going against the Rockets or against the Raptors, right? I mean, one team is just rolling out the red carpet, getting you here, come right to the rim, right this way. Even they look like bouncers sometimes. They pull the velvet rope. Here, come right in. The Raptors.
Did you guys see what happened? So Kevin Porter had that stare down of Steph Curry, and he didn't even look at him. And then Steph
Steph lit him up.
Lit him up, completely lit him up. And they did a third in the fourth quarter. I mean, gosh, this team is.
Yeah, I mean, that's what you're definitely feeling yourself when you say, you know what, I'm going to go talk smack to Steph Curry, right? I mean, just not the best idea. It almost reminds me of, have you seen the video that it went around a while ago, but it was Kevin Garnett and Isaiah Ryder, and Ryder was having a good game against Jordan, and Garnett was a rookie. And he starts talking smack to him, and Ryder's like, yo, chill out, right? And then Garnett just keeps going, my boy's killing you. And then, you know how the story ends, right? With Jordan just dropping like 28 points in the fourth quarter or whatever. And he's like, you can't do that to these guys. So that's a lot of fun. The Brooklyn Nets are now +6 in AP. It's funny because I got the news right after I read your tweet about Harden being checked out. And then he's out of this game with the hamstring injury, right? Which kind of correlated a little bit, right? On my timeline, it's kind of just felt like a little bit of synchronicity, right? You're saying he's checked out. Now all of a sudden his hamstring's sore. Seems like maybe a message to a team or a particular teammate because they didn't look too happy on the court against Sacramento. And Tyler, I'm glad that we got off the live show early because I was waiting to target Brooklyn live. I still can't believe the Kings won that game. But I think it says more about the Nets than it does the Kings. I don't know how they approach this, right? Normally I'd say this is a team that's eager to get back on track, but do they know that all that really matters is the playoffs? Are they just waiting to get home? Are they fine just kind of chucking this game anyways? Or is Irving going to try and make a statement to James like, no, you do want to play with me. Like I am the man. I don't know. There's so many different narrative ways to approach this game. I don't really know what to do with it. Go ahead, Tyler.
You want my favorite narrative-based approach to this game spread?
Yeah.
Ball it up and throw it in the trash.
Butler.
I'm not betting on Utah when they're sending out 5 wings. All their bigs are on the injury report, basically. Whiteside, Gay, Gobert's already out.
We got a little Pascal action though, right?
Yeah, but he's 6'8". He's not like a big man, you know what I mean? Like he's a small ball big. And then I'm not betting on Brooklyn either with no Harden, no KD, and just Kyrie out there. So wouldn't surprise me to see either team win tonight. It's gonna be whoever shoots better because they're both sending out the same kind of unit. I'm staying as far away as possible from this game spread.
Yeah, AP, we're not afraid to admit it, right? When we don't have like a strong take, we don't feel like there's an edge. Is there something that we're missing here as the Nets take on the Jazz in Utah?
Yeah, I mean, I kind of agree with you guys. And my just to kind of sum up too what I was saying about Harden. I mean, a lot of it came from, I was listening to NBA radio. Brian Scalabrini was just talking about it. And he's like, on these road trips, you get a guy like Harden, he's just checked out. Like, he's absolutely checked out. And I think this kind of confirms it. And so, like, I agree 100% with you, Spread. I think Kyrie, this is like, he's going to Kyrie. You got to show him. Like, Kyrie looked good against the Warriors. Like, he kept them in it. Like, it was a good game. This should be a winnable spot. Like, the Jazz are down a few guys. Like, Kyrie needs to come in and try to get it done. Like KD is done at times. Obviously, many times when it's been the KD show, Harden's done it too. It's just right now I think he's checked out. I think Kyrie needs to come in, have a big game, prove himself, and I don't know. I mean, I do kind of like the over here. I don't think a lot of people are going to bet it. Right at 230, big number. But like, just like what Tyler said, like there's no bigs. There's going to be no bigs on the court. Like I think Nick Claxton could have a decent game. I think Patty Mills is going to take a ton of shots, and Kyrie's going to take a ton of shots. There's no defense at all on the Nets side, and Mike Conley. I mean, I don't know. He's not going to stop Kyrie. Royce O'Neal, probably the only good defender on the Jazz side, right? I mean, he's definitely a guy that's a good defender, but. Give me the over here, slight lean to the over. It's a big number. I was kind of surprised by it. But I think could be a sneaky game in DFS too. If you just look at the rotations from the Warriors game, it was all Patty Mills. It was all Kyrie Irving. Everyone else is kind of risky, so we can move off of them. James Johnson maybe is like a low-owned value punt. He's been a guy that they've gone to that have played – that he's been playing better minutes. He kind of reminds me of like Prince on the Timberwolves, like in DFS. Guy that's been coming off the bench, old guy, veteran, and he's been crushing it. And he's just like, I don't know if he's trying to improve his own stock, but James Johnson could be right in that role as well. So I'm in MME multi-entry tonight, I'm going to have James Johnson in my pool. It's kind of like a loaned value play. I don't know if we'll need it just because there's always news that hits late that opens up other plays, but he's someone I'm looking at. So Kyrie, Patty Mills, James Johnson, and then the one thing I don't know is how many minutes is Donovan Mitchell going to play. So he's coming off of I don't know,
I know he's concussion. I know.
Yeah, this is fourth concussion in 2 years is what I read. So
yeah.
I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised if he was somewhat limited. So keep an eye on the news there. But slightly to the over and maybe the Brooklyn Nets side with a big game from Kyrie Irving.
Yeah, I was going to say if I were to try and like extract a take on the side after all three of our breakdowns, I would say if you do like the over, probably correlates with the Nets here, keeping it close. Because if the Jazz cover, I think the Nets just, don't put up any points.
Yeah, the problem is we have so many guards on the slate. We have DeJounte Murray, like we talked about, then Kyrie. So, yeah, it's going to be a fun slate for sure.
Yeah, definitely a fun slate. Reminder, this breakdown is brought to you by RunPureSports.com. Head on over, use the promo code GETBETS to become a member. Let's talk about the Pelicans and the Nuggets. I know it's not fun talking about the Pelicans, but that's what we do here for you at Run Pure Sports and Run Pure Bets. We're talking about the Pelicans, breaking them down. And Tyler, I'm kind of having fun with this. Pelicans have actually been playing better since their 3-16 start, 15-17 or something, right? So they went from being, one of the worst teams in the league to at least what I'd say is like an average team, especially in the West, where it seems like the quality of play, like in the 5 through 10 slots, it has definitely decreased in the last 5 years, not as top heavy and as West centric as it was, say, maybe 5 years ago, when all the talent seemed like it was over in the West here. So the Pelicans are catching 6 against the Nuggets. Jokic missed the last game. He's back tonight. Aaron Gordon's back. DeMarcus Cousins questionable. Josh Hart questionable. There won't be a lot of drama in the Discord because Garrett Temple's out. I know he's pretty divisive among all the members of Run Pure Sports. Hernan Gomez also out and Didi Louzada out. Tyler, this was another one that I felt that it was tough to cap. I felt like that my numbers are pretty good, and they came pretty close to this line. This wasn't one where I'm saying, these numbers don't really tell me anything. I felt like the numbers were pretty good, and I felt like the line was right. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you. Line's pretty much dead on from the way I look at it. If you had to pin me down to a side, Jokic is in, give me the Nuggets. He's going to be the best player on the floor, clearly by a mile. Should be able to work this defense, get them all into the spots where they need to, where their guys can get open shots against them. So I like that. That total seems a bit high, though. I'd definitely bet the under there because I think Denver will slow it down. And I don't trust New Orleans to put up a big number here either. So I definitely like the under 224.
Yeah, AP, I was listening to a podcast. I can't remember which one it was. I think it was The Athletic. Anyways, the question was, who's the most average player in the NBA, right? And the first answer was Josh Richardson. I thought that was pretty good. The second answer was Will Barton. I said, hey, you're undercutting my guy Will Barton a little there. He's a little above average, but regardless, just wanted to throw that out there. What are your thoughts on
the Aaron Gordon?
I mean, yeah, pretty close, right? At least Gordon's an above average defender. And can put the offense on when he needs to. I like that he's kind of grown into his role that Jeremy Grant did not want, or Jeremy Grant. What are your thoughts here, though? Pelicans catching 6 in Denver.
Yeah, I've just been staying away betting wise from the Nuggets. Like they're unless like Big T has a read. So Big T is our like Nuggets whisperer. Like I thought Jokic was going to play the other day. Big T comes on. And just like, drops the bag. And he's like, yeah, I got a bad feeling about Jokic here. And I loved it because I always have that show up when I'm finalizing my stuff up to lock. And it's such a good show. And it allowed me to make some moves there late. But Jokic has to play tonight. I think DFS wise, he should always be on our radar. The one thing about him too is like, there's going to be, with all this trade stuff going on, there's going to be value that opens up. And the 12.4K price tag is going to keep ownership down. So he really makes for a strong play. But I like the undercall that Tyler had. And I would lean, I would have a lean on the Nuggets side here. I just don't trust the Pelicans, even though they are healthy and outside of Zion. So, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if they keep it close. But I think it comes down to Jokic down the stretch. So maybe a slight lean there. But again, I do worry. Like, I mean, when he comes off the court, like they are a disaster. So that definitely is a concern. But give me Jokic as a tournament play in DFS tonight.
All right, Tyler, let's talk about the ESPN game for tonight. So this will be the evening game. Tips off at 10 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. out here on the West Coast. I think this is a good game. I think this is one, like from a fan's perspective, arguably the best game of the night. And it's the Philadelphia 76ers traveling to Dallas to take on the Mavericks. Sixers are plus 1.5. In my mind, that's a pick the winner. That low percentage time where it lands on 1, we'll take that. But it's basically pick the winner here. And I think it's a fascinating matchup, right? Because Dallas is another team that I don't think is good at defending inside. Dallas also coming off that tough loss against the Thunder. So you got to think, they'd already be focused going against a top team. But really, they got to get that taste out of their mouth as well. Mavericks, a team that I wasn't necessarily too high on, and I've always overrated the 76ers for the past 3 years. I think I'm going to go against that tonight and go with the Mavericks here. Just my ideas. I really like the way that they're going to be able to bounce back here. I think we see a huge night from Luka. He specifically spoke after the game about how bad his defense was in that game. During the run that they've made, Dallas had the top defensive rating if you just sorted for 2022. So from January 1st on, top defensive rating. Now, I don't know if the game against the Thunder knocked them out of that because I ran that before that game on Wednesday night. But regardless, playing really good defensively to make this run here. They're in 5th place in the Western Conference right now, and they want to get that home court advantage for the first round here. Philadelphia, boy, we talked about rumors, we talked about trades, and they all center around Philadelphia. They've done a good job of blocking it out so far. So I'm just going on matchups here. I think Embiid has a big night, but it's all for naught, and the Mavericks get the win. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I agree with you. I think Joel Embiid has giant game, and everyone else on their team is locked down by this Dallas defense. Yeah, they might not be able to cover big men. They've covered every other position very well over this thin spread. So Tobias Harris, Maxey, Danny Green. I see Curry's questionable. He might not even play. So definitely like the Dallas side. Small lean to the under because I think it's going to be a slow-paced game. And I just think they're going to take everybody out of the game for Philly except for Embiid, who they can't stop. So I could see Embiid putting up one of them games where he has like 40 and 15, and they lose the game by like 8 points because no one else is there to help him. Yeah. Love his rebounds over 11.5 at plus money. if Curry doesn't play, I like his assist over 4.5 because then the ball will be in his hands even more. And then as for his points props, it's at 31.5. He should probably clear that, but I'm not running to bet at 31.5.
Yeah, we were doing really well when it was 27. It's gone up 4 points, right? Well, we've had this little run where he's cashed on us, like 9 of 12 shows or something.
Yep.
But it's kind of drying up as of late, and the books are on to us. And they should, because we kept laughing when they put up that 27. 31, I think they at least made it a tough decision. Tyler and I both like the Mavericks. What do you think, AP?
Yeah, I'm sitting here adding entries on DraftKings because I like this slate. There's just so many routes we can go because we've already talked about some like really good spots to target DFS wise and betting. But man, Luka. So one of the rules, said it on this show, on every show, I've been attacking this Philly team, attacking Tyrese Maxey, Seth Curry when they're out there. We've seen guards smash, and then the Mavericks have struggled against bigs as well. So I see this as a spot where you can play both the studs as an absolute late game hammer. Maybe toss in some value from the Portland game, Thunder game that we'll talk about here soon. But no, I like this game from a DFS wise. I do agree with we the people. I think this will be I don't know. I mean, Mavericks games are kind of like they're not like the most exciting to watch unless you like watching Luka play that kind of like hardened type of basketball where it's him against everyone else, and he's good at finding players, but it really is the Luka show. And DFS wise, just to add in one more comment, I guess you could look at the props behind it too, but his rotation, and this is something that Glock identified like weeks ago. His rotation is so tasty right now. He's playing the whole first quarter. He's subbing back in typically at the 7 or 6 minute mark. So he's playing heavy minutes in the second quarter. He's playing the whole third quarter. And if it's a close game, he's only taking like 3 minutes of rest, and then he's back in. He's back in with 9 minutes to go. So you're talking like playoff type minute upside from Luka right now in close games, which I think this will be. And then on the other side, Embiid has just been smashing. So a lot of decisions to make. Embiid versus Jokic, Luka versus, another upper tier guard in DeJounte Murray or Kyrie Irving. These slates are fun because ownership generally spreads out and makes it a ton of fun in DFS. But give me Luka at home here. Give me the Mavericks. I like their side. I think it's going to be a good game overall, though. Competitive game, and maybe a slight lean to the over as well. I like that call from We the People.
Yeah, and We the People's having a great week, right? So, guys, check out his comments in the chat.
People, I'm in. Let's go.
Yeah. So we always appreciate him when he shows up and shares his insight. AP, we have talked about a lot of guys that we want to spend up for. How are we going to get there? I think this next game is going to offer us the trip to Value Town with the trade that we talked about today. You touched on it a little bit in the opener, but we're going to ask you to expound now. Of course, if you're just showing up and you didn't catch anything, the Blazers did trade Robert Covington and Norm Powell to the Clippers for Eric Bledsoe, Keon Johnson, and a second-round pick, which means the Blazers will not have Keon Johnson in the lineup tonight, nor Bledsoe. So they'll be playing shorthanded. They're laying 6.5 to a Thunder team that I like to back against the spread when I'm catching 5 or more. This team, they don't win. They play hard, and they play good defense. I like Josh Giddey. This is a great chance for him to develop with SGA out. I'm assuming SGA is still out, right? I mean,
he's still out. Right? He's out till after the All-Star break.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Okay, just making sure, though. But Giddey, right, I think he does a great job running this offense here. I like the Thunder plus the 6.5. AP, let's start with you, though. So give us your thoughts on the side in total, but then go into all the ways we're going to attack this from a value perspective on the Blazers.
Yeah, so I agree with you. The thing about the Thunder, they're kind of a deceiving team. So they had a stretch where they were just terrible and getting pounded by opposing teams. They struggle to score. And so what do you do if you're a team that struggles to score? You have to play good defense. And they have. Lou Dort's been good. They I can't pronounce his name, but the guy that they've I think they started him at center or they're in the front court. He's a good defender. Who did he play for? He played for because he used to bleach his hair. I don't know if he still does, but I believe he played for one of the championship teams. I don't watch a ton of college ball as much as I should.
I'm trying to figure out who you're talking about. Do you know who
he's talking about? He's talking about Diakite, the kid from Virginia.
Oh, okay.
Virginia, yeah.
He threw me off at first when he said it, and then he said the blonde hair. I was like, I know who that is.
Yeah. It was like the most boring championship game ever. They won they put up 50-some points. I like points, so if you like defense, that's not for me. But so interesting game. Trey Mann, he's starting to. I mean, he looked good against Dallas. Now he gets a much friendlier matchup. I have him tagged as like a core play that you can build around, core value play.
Who was that?
Trey Mann. They're rookie.
Oh, okay, yeah, he's been playing well. Yeah.
Is he another guy in the dunk contest? I can't remember, but
it's Jalen Green, Obi Toppin.
That's right.
Cole Anthony and Toscano out of Golden State.
How did Toscano get in there? That's just ridiculous. He's the best dunker on the team.
There's always one guy that shouldn't be in there that always gets in.
It's like the free square, yeah.
Trey Mann, interest in him. Baisley's been playing a little bit better. Should be a decent matchup here for him as well. It's tough, this game. So they just played. I would almost lean like the under here, even though I hate taking unders in Blazers games. And I would also lean the OKC side. And why not take it a step further and throw a little bit on the money line too? They've been playing good, coming off 2 nice wins over the Mavericks and then the Blazers. So maybe they get it done twice in a row against a team that just moved a ton of pieces. But on the Blazers side, you have to think Larry Nance gets a start with Nurkic. I think CJ McCollum, Simons, and Nurkic are going to have to play a ton of minutes. And then the thing is the other guy that could start here is Tony Snell. He never does much when he's out there. So that means more usage, more opportunity for other guys on the court. So if you figure out if it's going to be a Simons night or if it's going to be a McCollum night, you go there or you go to Nurkic down in the paint.
All right. Yeah, and you did bring up a great point. I forgot that, when I was leading into the game. But on Monday night, these two teams did play in Oklahoma City, and Oklahoma City won 98-81. I don't think Nance is playing. He's been out for a while, right? I'll double check that. But when I originally capped this game this morning, I capped it with him out. He's questionable. He's questionable. Okay.
Yeah, they're going to be so low on bodies. I got to go back and relook at their situation then.
Yeah, so that's definitely going to be the value, so we can get those guys in there what we want, right? Because we want a little Luka, we want a little Embiid, we want a little Jokic, and we want a little DeJounte, maybe sprinkle in some Kyrie. So we're going to have to find them from this game. Tyler, what are your thoughts here?
I'm with AP and our guy, We the People in the chat, said hot take. Thunder went outright. I like the over. I'm not 100% on the over, but I think they win this game. I think Trey Mann could have a big game. His points per 14.5. You look at the last game, he played 40-plus minutes and put up 29 points. Mm-hmm. The game before that, he only played 20 minutes and put up 13. Well, Aaron Wiggins played in that game. He's out tonight. Those minutes are going to be ticked up again. That 14.5, I think, is too low against a backcourt that doesn't play defense. I'll gladly take the over on Trey Mann tonight on 14.5. I wouldn't mind even doing the latter bet where you take it up to 20, 25, because 25 plus is going to get you plus 1,000. If the kid's shooting hot, he's just going to keep letting them fly. Can easily get to that 29 number again.
All right. Well, that is it. We are through the card. There's a couple questions we missed. Let me go back to these that we missed, and these will just be random. Do you like Valanciunas at 8,500? He put up 52 DK points last time versus Denver. What do you think, AP?
Good question there. I will probably be off of him. Jokic has actually been playing decent defense. He's not historically he's a bad defender, but relative to himself or in comparison to himself, he's been much better this year. And defense on DraftKings, you only can play or center on DraftKings. You can only play 2 of them. So I don't think I'll be going to Joe Val. I just think there's better spins and places to go on the slate. Mainly if you're spending up to Jokic or Embiid.
All right, good answer there. What do you think about this one? This is for you, Tyler. Sadiq Bey, points, rebounds, plus assists. Do you think he has a big night with Cunningham out?
No, could definitely have a big game with Cunningham out. He should have some of the ball handling duties that Grant doesn't take or Joseph or Hayes doesn't. So definitely like that, especially if that number is lower than 20. If you're getting a 19.5, smash that.
All right. All right. Eric Chang, this one's for AP and I. Tyler, you're disqualified from this one. Do you know if it's a bad idea to take 10 shots of Jameson after your 35th birthday? My answer is yes. What do you think, AP?
I mean, like if you're just taking them back to back to back, then yeah.
Wow.
I can answer that question in 10 years when I get there.
I worked at an Irish bar, so not only do I know that from experience, I know it from watching. It usually ends up with
Is that his
escorting
35th
you out
birthday?
and getting a taxi. Yeah, his 35th birthday. So
Okay,
happy
yeah.
birthday to Eric Chang. Always great here in the chat. I think this is the last one I missed because I don't like to go out of order. Tyler, do you like Evan Mobley over 8.5 rebounds? That's, of course, we talked about targeting the Hornets.
Yeah, I don't hate it. And my only worry, though, is Allen just gobbles them all up and he grabs like 15 tonight. Because he is going to be in the front court. I like targeting Mobley when Allen's out. Because then you know he's the center big man. He's going to get all the rebounds. But he could still get you up over that 8.5 number, even with Allen on the floor against his small team.
All right. West Coast Gem says, did they legalize gambling in California? I know it's on the ballot. I haven't followed, but from what I saw, West Coast, even if they do, I don't think we're going to be able to sit at home and do it on our phones. And I don't think we're going to get DraftKings and FanDuels. I think that it would mean that we can go to you're down in South. I don't know all the names down there, but up here it'd be Red Hot Casino and Cash Creek, right? And the Indian casinos, they would basically just have sports books. But I don't even think they would have online. You would be able to go in person. It's a step in the right direction, but I don't think it would be like the DK FanDuel where we can play all those player performance doubles that Tyler gives out. So that's it for the questions. AP, before we give out our best bets, do you want to try and make a core here real quick?
Yeah, let's do it. We might be saved from LeVert, but I'm going to stand by it. I think he's a good play tonight. And, we had a good comment in chat. AO is one of the top on-ball defenders in the league, or at least, he has been over this recent stretch. Yeah, but the NBA is about switching and stuff. And I don't think that the Bulls are good at switching right now, which has led to massive fantasy points from opposing backcourts. So sure, he could lock up LeVert at times, but I still think that they're going to be able to do things. I mean, Carlisle's a smart coach. They're going to be able to, if he wants LeVert to get to his spots and everything against a Bulls team on a back-to-back, I think he's going to get there. So good comment though. I mean, the guy, I wish I haven't seen as much of Ayo as I would like to. I've seen him play. I'm trying to think. I think I watched a couple of the games recently, but he looks like he has a lot of upside for sure in this league.
All right. So are we starting this core with Karis LeVert, though?
Who's going first?
We'll let you go first. That way you get 2 picks. We'll let the expert have 2, and then Tyler and I get 1.
Let's start with Trey Man. Just like a nice value piece right there. 4.2.
So he took my guy right off fucking bat spread.
Okay.
Well, he can have it.
I'll get another one. You're good.
Okay.
I'm like, in my head, I'm like, I know where I'm going with this. Boom. First name off the board.
All right. So we'll have Trey Man.
Yeah, Trey. Good, AP. Give your 2. I got to find another one now.
Oh, okay. My other one, let's see. Let's go with, let me just check the news here real quick. Do we think that Goga or Brissett is going to play? If not, that Terry Taylor is a good play. But let's not speculate. Let's go.
Right.
I'll go with let's go with Karis LeVert. I think we might need some. So I'll go Trey Man, Karis LeVert. So it kind of makes it tougher on you guys.
No, that's fine. Well, LeVert, that's going to be controversial, but hey, that's great. AP, I was reading that it's better to be controversial when you're doing content like this. It's better than being right from what I was reading in order to get viewers. Help me out here. So I had 2 ideas on mine, right? First was to play Nico Claxton going against the Jazz with no big men.
I like that.
As a value play. The other was if I'm looking at Portland and I'm going for one value off the Portland team, like who's the very best one? that you would choose? I was thinking, I don't know if I'm just getting too crazy here with Ben McLemore at 3,700.
No, I think you could go there. They're gonna. I mean, I wouldn't be. I mean, they could start Snell, or they could start McLemore. So they're gonna need shooting with the guys that left. So, and you can play them at the small forward spot. So I think that's a fine play.
All right, Tyler, what do you got for us?
I'm going to take the other guard in that game. Give me Simons. I
I
don't
like
like his price is right around 6,600, but only 8 points in this matchup in the game they lost against them last week. OKC can't defend point guards at all. Like, he could easily walk in here and hang 40 fantasy points.
All right, I really like that.
That's a good score. 6.7K left per position.
Yeah. All right. So one more time, it was LeVert, Mann, McLemore, and Taylor.
Simons.
No, and Simons.
Yep.
All right. So that is the core. There you guys go. Let's do the best bets of the day. Reminder, these best bets are brought to you by Run Pure Sports and runpurebets.com. If you're not already a member, use the promo code GETBETS. Tyler, what do you got for us?
I'm going to roll with that under in the Denver game, that under 224. I just don't see him getting there. And then as for the props, give me the Trey Mann over 14.5 points. I think he's going to fly over that number.
Yeah, I like that one too. AP, what do you think? What is your best bet for the day?
Yeah, let me pull it up real quick. Give me the Mavericks -1.5 against Philly. I think Luka gets it done against Embiid tonight.
All right, yeah, that's going to be a fun game. We the people disagrees. I'm going to be looking forward to that. Maybe popping some popcorn. Why don't I go with the game that we all agreed on, Tyler? Because you and I disagreed a lot, but we did agree that we like the Toronto Raptors at home against the Atlanta Hawks. Both teams playing excellently, but we really like the way that the Raptors match up with this team. They're laying 3. Atlanta obviously had that big game last night. Toronto played an overtime game, but they got to stay at home while Atlanta traveled. So I will take the Raptors +3. And I got to We the People. I don't think
I'm about to say that's the We the People special right there. He's been on the Raptors all week cashing those tickets.
So, hey, we're willing to be flexible. And since I don't think he's missed a bet, right, when he's giving them out in the chat this week, we got to throw it on the screen. He says the plus money odds on OKC, the over on the total gets them to +450. Hey, that's a fun way to end a Friday night. So, all right, guys. Remember, like the video, subscribe to the channel so we can continue to bring you all this content for free. AP, do you want to let everyone know what you've got going on this weekend over at runpuresports.com?
Yeah, we got NBA all through the weekend, PGA, Showdown stuff. We have a ton of content coming out for the Super Bowl, so keep an eye on that. Big T behind the scenes working kind of on a content plan for the Super Bowl. I know it's only one game, but over on DraftKings, if you look at the contest, they got 2 million makers. They have all kinds of contests. So we're going to have a ton of content for the Super Bowl. And then obviously, on the betting side, tons of props, tons of bets and everything. This week coming up is a fun week. Unfortunately, my Chiefs did not get it done, but we got Joe Burrow and as a dog against the Rams here, a dog again. So it's going to be a lot of fun. Everyone against Joey B. It hasn't worked out yet, but maybe the Rams will be able to get the win. Who knows?
That's right.
I don't mean to be the superstitious kind of guy. Chinese New Year just happened. You know how they do their year of the tiger.
Yeah.
Ooh, I like it.
All right. Maybe the eye of the tiger as well for Joey B. For us on the Run Pure Bet side, of course, if you're a member of Keg's live show, he will be live on Saturday for the UFC like he always is. And then, man, this guy's so excited. I mean, we had to calm him down on the show on Wednesday night because NASCAR starts. And that was by far his most profitable sport last season. He's really looking forward to it. And you should be too. So go on. And if you're a member, check out the live show. My guy, Jonathan Taylor, if he's still watching, of course, is a part of that. And Tyler and I will be jumping on the weekdays handling the NBA for Tyler and I. So usually you guys see us, when we get done with this show, but no show today for the NFL. No Monday morning NFL show, but we will be back on Friday. And that's where we're going to break down the Super Bowl. And, of course, I know that you guys put up with me talking, but you'll get to hear all of Tyler's props.
I think the only way we have like an impromptu NFL show on Monday is if some big news comes across the weekend. But I don't think we're getting it.
Yeah, if something happens, like 38 people join the class action lawsuit or something, we'll jump on with Title. But right now, I'm anticipating on just spending the week getting ready. And Tyler, I can't wait to see what you come up with, man. It's almost relaxing for me because I know that no matter how much work I put in, that you're going to give me the even better props. So I'll be there so I can be educated and talk to you about them. But really looking forward to hearing your picks on Friday. If you are not subscribe to the channel, make sure you do, so that way you will be notified when we go live with all this great content. AP, thanks again, man. I really look forward to Fridays. So much fun doing the show with you, and we cashed some tickets here last week. We're going to do it again tonight. Thank you, everybody, for watching. And